Hey everybody, this is Scott Bowman. I am the creator behind Idea Brickworks, and we're back. This is Brick Building Together Apart. Sorry that we've kind of been on a weird schedule. The racing season for me is over, at least for this season. But so I'm back on a little more regular schedule. Of course, we're heading into the holidays, so who the heck knows what's going on. But definitely working on some more guests and more content. But so today, really excited to have yet another incredible builder from Bricks in Space, which, my show's kind of been taken over by Bricks in Space, which is good. That means I have a community, I have peeps. But in this case, we have Sebastian. So Sebastian, if you'd like to just introduce yourself a little bit and kind of set the cue for what you do.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's a nice new media and nice new way of introducing my own creations. In the past, I only had the written word and some digital pictures, not many real photos. So this is the first time I can present some of my own creations, some of my modifications, and some of the work I have done for the last 2 years in this field, because I only started MOCing or mocking. I don't know what the proper term for that is. About 2 years ago, I only have built sets or have built according to someone else's instructions from the internet. Some Star Wars mocks from Jarek, I think is this one, for example. And then 2 years ago, the rivals bit me and never stopped. Never really stopped for the last 2 years. So it's really fun hobby now.
Well, that's cool, and we'll talk a lot more about some of the other stuff that you've done. I've got some images that we can talk to and everything. So also, of course, we have my producer and friend, Mr. Jones.
Hello,
from his office, not his bedroom this time. So tell us what you're doing. I know you're actually working, so we want to know the rest of your crew.
Sneakily, yes, I'm supporting all our events in the UK today. Thankfully, most of them are coming to an end because with it being closer to the winter now, it's getting darker outside. So, yeah, people don't like to race in the dark for some reason. I don't know why.
Except in Belgium right now.
But today, I'm actually going to be building some Lego. Actually going to do a Lego set. Yeah, and I got one. I got the Flintstone.
Oh, your Flintstone. There you go.
So I'm going to give that a go today and see what happens.
Fabulous. So we have some regulars, our lovely regulars that have kind of not taken over because they're welcome guests, but we definitely have a space theme going on. So I've kind of cued in that may be, of course, having a 34,000 12-foot tall Saturn V might be a hint that I like space. So obvious, yeah. So Mr. Chambers, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
So Mr. Chambers is in recovery mode from his latest move. So what are you going to do today?
I wanted to ask you guys, I want to vote of what I should do.
Oh, I like it.
So first option is I start putting my Saturn V Skylab LUT back together.
Okay.
Second option is I start organizing my kits, my Skylab kits, or I might have accidentally bought this yesterday.
Well,
what do you think?
I'll field you some comments that are coming from our other guests in the green room, and there's a lot of shouts for LUT.
Really?
Oh.
Huh. I mean, I wasn't prepared to start on this A-wing or anything.
Okay, let's not.
I think he wants the A-wing.
Let's let him build his let's let him build his set. Now
I mean,
the
I
guy
can work on it. Like if everyone wants me to do that, I can. But
right about now, Sebastian's wondering why the heck did he join this?
No, I'm okay with that. I have a blue one over there. This one. So it's a smaller one, but it's a blue A-wing.
Another guest, otherwise known as Mr. B, but he is also a Sam, Sam Bradford. So, hi Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Oh, what am I doing today?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I am redesigning LC39A for the third time.
Because you can, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Is this to more make it unitized, or are you testing the instruction kind of?
I am redesigning it and making it more affordable. I have modeled Duplo bricks, so I can actually design out the internal structure better. Also, Joe actually made a instruction set that he'll eventually be selling in like December something maybe ish.
Yep.
And so with that, he'll sell it, and then this should be able to sit into the rest of my model.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's not two separate things. That makes sense.
Right.
Cool.
So it'll be modular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then of course, not to be forgotten, like he was as we were getting ready for the show, Peter.
Hello.
And we get to see your face today, so
I
you're gonna feel more groomed today, or
yeah.
So you can tell Sebastian that the regulars have some kind of themes. We don't always see Peter. We often see what he's doing, but we don't often see Peter. So Peter's doing quite a bit with studio, with his space-time brick studio work that he does, which is really, really fun. And if you haven't started following his, both his YouTube channel and on Facebook, you really should, because it's, what do you call the Friday thing? Throwback Friday?
Flashback Friday.
Flashback, okay. So what are you going to do today?
Well, I do have some stickers to work on for a top secret project.
Huh, I wonder what they could be for.
And I also was able to pick this up about a week early.
Oh, nice.
What is it? Oh.
I'm
Did you
sensing
get that from our favorite store in Eagle?
I did.
Ah. So he got his shipment. Now, is he respecting the embargo?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was on the shelf for sale, so I'm going to assume yes.
Okay. Okay, so as we normally do, I just have a couple of, before I refocus, I did pick this up. Fred Meyer had the Obi-Wan's hut on sale. And frankly, this was a $20 buy just to get one part. And that is the translucent Leia. So,
oh boy, you people and your minifigs.
Well, there are very few mini-pigs. This is just one I wanted, and it's really a micro minifig.
So I was disappointed with that, because when you have a statue fig in most sets, you get two of them, one as a replacement. That one, you only get one.
I can imagine.
So,
and then this is my program of, again, it was either sale or a support kit. This is my build direct to parts. So basically, I'll build it, immediately take it apart. So this is kind of the model of, build it, and then it goes into your part supply. So that's what I'm going to do today. So
do you take photos of it?
You have damage to repair today?
A little bit. This used to be an Energia rocket, but my cat knocked it down from the top shelf. I may have totally overbuilt the core stage, because it is in one piece, totally in one piece.
Hey,
But
you
the
know,
rest
that's
is
not
the
not
rest
bad
is completely gone. All the boosters and the nose cone and stuff like that. My initial project for today should have been my Vulcan rocket. I maybe think I have all the parts, maybe not. Let's see if what kind of completion I can reach with that. What I have at hand at the moment.
So you said a Vulcan?
Yeah, that's the new rocket from United Launch Alliance.
Yeah.
And I have designed it about a year ago, and I think 2 weeks ago, a photo popped up on the Facebook group of someone really having built it. Was the first time I've seen that someone has built a Vulcan rocket, and I think I have to follow that. Now that it's out there, I should build my own creation now.
Yeah. Sebastian, I keep joking around about like, you and I both, we like to make rocket designs. We're running out of unique ones to make.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Well, and with that, I'm going to show the first image. This is a little older image I think I got from your stream, Sebastian, but this was kind of a lineup of what you had done to date then. I know you've actually done more since then.
Yeah.
But maybe it'd be a great to start out is just talk about how you got started in this and what, kind of what drove your interest in all these different rockets you've been doing.
Yes, it was a similar picture that drew my interest into this new hobby. It either was Liam Banaham or the Reddit user Saxus, who has published a group photo of his rockets. They were not in the scale of the Saturn V because he has started before the introduction of the official Saturn V set. I've seen the teasers for the Saturn V set about 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Was it published in 2017 or 2018? I don't recall at the moment. But I've seen the teaser pictures for the Saturn V. I think it was only the top of the rocket with the command module and the launch escape system. But they really drew me in. And after having seen the Skylab from Reddit user Saxus that he has created using the design, the core design of the S4B third stage of the Saturn V kit. He converted that to a Skylab model, and that was these two pictures were the initial pictures I saw on the internet, I think, and I stumbled over some LEGO Ideas project by Grant Passmore under his pseudonym on LEGO Ideas. It's Eiffelman, I think, on LEGO Ideas.
Yep.
And Andrew Harkins.
Which is exactly how I got into it, is I found his Skylab.
Yeah. So the Skylabs drew us in and wasted our money.
Yep.
We have to thank two different people, but the same
Thanks,
ideas
Grant.
from them. And then there was another user, Andrew Harkins. I think he is on LEGO Ideas Luxor Deathbed or something like that. And he has created some Titan rockets, Titan 3Cs or 3Es and Titan 4s. And I think I have some of them built up at the moment.
That's what I need to do with the Titan.
They are all partly in pieces, but this from his one of his models was really nice. Seeing that he was able to squeeze in a Centaur stage and it's the Galileo spacecraft into this one fairing piece, and that was that was those 3 people brought me into this hobby. Yeah. That was really the start. And then there was the Space Shuttle by Andrew Harkins, or King's Knight bricks, that I have used his booster design for my first creation, the RS-1 rocket. That was also on this group photo. That was the first project that I published on the Facebook group.
I'm again. We talked a little bit about this in the lead up to it, but of course we're all hopeful that SLS goes, and 2021. Hopefully, we're doing the orbit around the moon. But
yeah,
maybe talk a little bit about your version of the SLS, and I think there are several of us on this stream that are now going to start building it. So thanks for getting us to order a whole bunch of orange pieces, because we know what that's going to cost. So maybe talk a little bit about the SLS and how you put that one together.
So you need some of those, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The SLS, I don't actually know at what time. It was a really productive year after that. After the RS-1, I think I published about 10 or 12 different rockets in about a year.
Yeah.
So every 2 or 3 weeks, a new creation I was able to publish. But the SLS was a real long-term project. I think I'm at the moment at version 29 of the studio file for that one, and it was a real big project. But it's one of the projects I was able to build in real bricks. So that's how that looks. Actually, this section here on top was the one that drew me to this project. I had figured out a circle technique for, well, what is it, 8.5 studs or 9 studs diameter circle for the core stage, and then I really didn't know how to build up this conical section here above, staggering some different circle techniques on top of each other, and that was this section was the one that brought me to this project. The conical adapter section here on top for the it is block 1 or block 1A. I really don't know at the moment. The one with the Delta 4 upper stage. Yes, yeah. The Delta 4 upper stage is the same. Delta 4 is the same upper stage that Lego Ideas uses render bricks used for his Delta 4. Yeah. Now I recall. I have rebuilt his Delta 4 using only about 4 or 5 pictures from his Lego Ideas project. And in the past, it was Lego Digital Designer. I hadn't switched to Studio at that time.
Right.
And then I had the upper stage at hand, and I knew a circle technique that I wanted to use for the core stage. That was only using available pieces in normal orange. That's one thing that I try to keep in mind right from the start when I'm designing the rockets. Only to use the pieces in the available colors. And then I had the design challenge of designing the conical adapter section on top of that, and that was the one that brought me into this project. At the moment, I may be guilty of emptying Bricklink of these pieces here.
Oh, no.
It's a plate modified iron 1x2 with door rail and normal orange. It's really hard to get. How much do you need? 8, 16. The 32 pieces that you will need for this creation are not available at the moment. I think you can buy 32 from one seller if you are paying about 10 euros per part or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can get some single ones or two pieces for a normal price of 4 cents or something like that.
And was that
section I really have to redesign. And on Reddit, I have seen 2 alterations of this section. What is it? It's not an interstage, but it's an intertank section with the corrugations in that. And I have seen 2 alternate versions of this intertank section that avoid using these door rail plates. I think I can just bring it up one more time.
Sure.
And these alternative builds are using the grill pieces all around. So they have figured out a better way to create a circle with the 2x8 plates, and when on top of that the grill tiles. They look really good, and I will have to look into that. How can I adapt my my design to that? But at the moment, I want to build a second one, a cargo version or a Block 1B version, and it's not possible for me to get the pieces to build a second one at the moment.
You know, I did the same thing with a conical piece. It's actually this piece in white, because I was building my micro Saturn V's, which are available on my website. So thanks for the queue up there. But you know, I've got pretty close to 4,000 of these out in the wild right now. But this piece used to go there. I've since redesigned it, but I got to the point where I would pay $1 each. And then I got down to there were only 3 people that had them in bulk, and they all wanted $2 to $3 each. And so, and then I got some nasty comments from some, I don't think it was on Bricks in Space, because I think you guys would have, but it was another site that I had posted a request, and they said, so you're the guy that caused the pricing to go up, and got some nasty follow back there from that one. But so yeah, it's interesting how we can all, and Joe's got a piece that he's kind of caused that with as well. So
hey, I'm not the only one.
No, you're not.
Yeah, the red fence, 1x4 fence piece. Yep. Everyone wants it for their LUT.
I want 20 for my Launch Complex 34.
Oh, 20? Good luck.
Yeah, it's not possible at the moment.
So one of the projects on my table is, it would be a collaboration, but I want to get into maybe fabricating brick. And one of the things that we're talking about is a railing piece, both in a 1x2 and a 1x4. Joe's not as enamored with my 2-high version, but I've got to find somebody that can do a higher quality. But a friend of mine in the UK just printed these as a test, and I think if we can get them in red, they'd be really a lot of fun. But then this would be sold with Joe's instructions, and or as a piece that you could buy, kind of thing. So hopefully we'll
yeah, man, let's get on it.
I know I have a few projects that are plus that we're going into Christmas, and so my Christmas kits are getting kind of popular, so I've got to get a few more of those made. I sell kits, Sebastian, so so I have to make money in order to buy brick, and so that's one of the.
Scott, where can people pick up your kits by any chance?
I don't know. Do you think there's a? There it is. Thank you.
That it?
That is it.
Oh, you know, while we're plugging things, there's also another Etsy store that you should, go visit. Etsy.com/shop/Lego Joe Design. You should go to that one too.
There you go.
And
Mr.
in
King,
probably a month or two, you can also find my stuff at Scott's Etsy shop, but for right now, they're at mine.
And you've got your instructions on there.
Yep. Anyway,
And so
so
far,
Sebastian, tell us more about yourself. Yeah,
well, I was gonna
yes.
say, Sebastian, you've been putting an awful lot of instructions on bricks in space, which we all appreciate.
Well, I was going to ask, Sebastian, do you do instructions or do you just do the design?
I'm working by myself. I have no local user group or Lego user group or something like that that I'm working with. I'm designing them. Nowadays, I've switched to Studio. I think about a year ago. I think most of us have. Because of the availability of the newer pieces. One of the most important pieces for me is the brick 1x1 with studs on adjacent sides. That's really, really useful for the smaller rocket core stages. And that was not available in LDD, so I switched to Studio. I put the instruction making aside a really long time. I had made instructions using, I think the program was Blueprint for Lego Digital Designer. And I knew how to handle that one. And I didn't really want to start learning the Studio Instructions Maker. But at last, in the end, I couldn't avoid that. It's the project that I wanted to do now, the Vulcan rocket. I have no instructions made yet in Studio, so I have to click away pieces, hide pieces, and zoom into the to model to find out how I actually did it in the past. But the instruction maker, I have made instructions. I think for the SLS, for the Ares rocket, I have made instructions for someone that asked on bricks in space, and I think for the New Glenn rocket, I have made instructions, and the Ariane 6 rocket, I've made instructions. That are the only 3 or 4 projects that I really have made instructions for. At the moment, most of them are only the digital files that I'm putting on bricks in space. And the wonderful Google folder by Alexandru Bauer that is full of digital files.
Chock full of things, yeah.
Yeah. But I've not made many instructions at the moment. Yeah.
Kind of time consuming.
Change too. I use Blueprint, and I got pretty good at it but you kind of have to figure it out yourself. There's not a lot of instructions out there for that, and no support at this point, right? There's no advancements in it, but yeah, I just finally decided I needed to convert, and it's so well connected to how you do submodels. And frankly, one of the things I didn't know I'd appreciate was as I'm building something large and then make it a submodel, now all of a sudden, when I go into instructions, I don't have to move all those pieces around. I can move the submodel where it needs to go. Then I can decide how it's going to be put together. So, in a complex build, it really does allow you to move things around pretty quickly. So.
But you will end up with 1 or 2 stray pieces at the moment. In the end, that will be placed not in a not visible place or something like that.
And my favorite one is I decide to change something. I've got the instructions all done. I decide to change something, then it ends up at the last, right at the very end, and you have to figure out how to bring it in. 4 steps to get it into the right place. It's
or else it resets your instructions. I have a few issues with the Studio Instruction Maker, but it's a really powerful tool. I want to kill it sometimes, but it's a really powerful tool.
I just, when I booted it up this morning, I noticed a new version came out, and it's talking about inserting a step adjacent to the step that you're working on, which I think I haven't played with yet, to see if that helps improve it.
You didn't update it yet, did you?
I did. You have not?
Okay. I hope everything runs well for you. I just saw some people in the studio group having trouble with the new edition.
Goody.
But if it's turning on and running for you, you should be fine.
I haven't had problems with it.
I just saw a couple people like they can't build or do anything. So I'm hoping it's just their hardware problem.
I'm just waiting for Mr.
So I've been refraining.
I'm just waiting for Mr. B to all of a sudden go,
yeah.
Oh no! It killed my whole design. How many pieces? How many pieces are currently in your LC39?
Anywhere between 140,000 to 160-ish.
Yeah, that would
small stuff.
Just a little tiny thing.
So how long does the render take for that one?
One photo usually takes about an hour plus-ish. And that's you hit go and I don't touch my computer for about 10 hours. I've been considering buying a second computer just to render things.
Okay.
Because it's ridiculous.
How's that?
Is it CPU bound or GPU bound, the render thing?
For me, it's GPU. Because I'm on
I think it's... Yeah. Like, my home computer does not have as good of a GPU as my work computer. And so I'll use my work computer to do renders. And it goes so much faster.
This is,
you can choose to do either.
So what's the difference between a GRU and the other?
Well, the GRU was a Russian spy organization, I think.
Correct. It was. Back in the day.
The GPU is the graphics processor unit. The CPU is the central processor unit. Right?
I have to put this up so I can remember not to do this. So. Okay, so CPU is central processing unit.
Right. So when someone talks about your computer being this fast or that fast, they're usually talking about your central processor, your Pentium or whatever is in there.
Pentium.
Pentium 90.
Wow.
How do you even know if you have a GPU?
Every computer has one. Most laptops has it integrated into the motherboard. And then when you get a desktop, you can have it. Every motherboard has an integrated GPU. It's just usually just a basic RGB output to a monitor. But I'm not. Most people go out and buy a GPU card, which fits in a PCI Express slots, and that can allow you to do multiple monitor setups and then greatly enhance your graphic performance.
So that's more of a desktop kind of.
The expansion, yes. But all computers have it in one sense or another. It's just when you buy a graphics card, it has more processors built into it, and I believe, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. If you use an NVIDIA card, you have access to CUDA processing, which is really good for parallel computing. And I believe Bricklink Studio will run faster on the CUDA cores of the GPU.
Gotcha. So if I get a new computer, that's what I need to look for.
Now,
Sure,
Peter,
right.
you recently upgraded your PC, correct? Am I?
Yes. I got a GeForce 2060 Super, which is a 8 gigabyte GPU memory card. So it's greatly increased my render times, but at the same time, I increased the 4K resolution and made longer video clips. So
Wow.
it's just so usually the build videos I do are 10 seconds long and at 4K resolution. And depending on the part usage, it can take anywhere from 2 to 12 hours.
Oh.
Good grief.
It's the ship in the bottle is what's really causing hard number crunching right now because it has so many transparent pieces and studios going out of the way and calculating the refraction of light. So it's like you can look through the clear pieces and see stuff magnified. And I believe that's what's really taking its toll on getting this video done.
Jeez.
Don't you just wish there was an option just to turn that off every now and then?
So that's a question I have, Sebastian. What do you do for a living?
I'm a civil engineer, and I work at the
All these
university.
engineers.
Sorry,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
a civil engineer, but I don't build bridges or making statical stuff for buildings. I'm working in university, trying to teach our students something about rail operations. That's my field of expertise in the university.
Sweet.
Well, Scott's a dirty. Scott's a mechanical engineer, and I'm an electrical engineer, and Mr. B is a musical engineer, and Peter was an electrical engineer, right?
Yeah, I'm retired.
So what is?
I'm recovering. Peter's retired.
It took a master's in engineering to figure out how to use Studio.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes too.
So I guess maybe I'm a Lego engineer now.
There you go.
Coolest job
Seriously?
title in the world.
I've been known to be a structural engineer for Lego creations.
That is true.
I'll second that. Yeah, you definitely have.
That's a trap when using Studio. You get rid of structural information for your creation.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that so many people who are, adult Legoers are engineers. They're either in the art field or the engineering field. And I shouldn't be surprised at that at all.
But yet you are.
Yet I am.
But you need an engineer's salary to pay 8 cents for some little piece of plastic.
There is a lot of truth to that.
Yep.
Or poor Mr. B, still a college student.
Although
Yeah, I was going to say, or you just don't have a family and concentrate on yourself.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually use the stability engine in Studio for like any real purpose?
I don't get that. I don't know how to use that.
I used it to look at the pretty colors.
I use it on official Lego sets, but I think it lies.
Yeah. And
It lies.
this will fall apart and go, really?
what? I didn't even know this existed.
Well, that could be a whole discussion point on the new feature.
Yes, that's true.
How to use the stability engine.
I'll have to put that on the. Okay, I see the
That
stability.
on the docket.
Oh wow!
Look at all the pretty colors, eh, Scott?
So what is the stability of your creations, Scott?
Not much. Here, I'll share. You get to. I think I got to. What do I do here? Stop the screen. Share the screen. Go here.
So while we're waiting for Scott, I'd actually like to hear more about Sebastian. So you say you're teaching right now, or you're developing things?
It's mostly 50-50.
Okay.
I'm active in both semesters, the winter semester and the summer semester. So I have courses about track layout. I have a course that's an interdisciplinary project for students from all fields from the civil engineering. So a group of 7 to 8 students have to work together the whole semester to design a bridge or something like that. A project that will that they will have a full semester to design. And I've basically gone through all the different courses that our institute is offering at the moment. We have a research and learning factory. It's where we have real interlocking technologies linked to a simulation, and where we teach our students all the basic principles of railway interlocking technologies and the safety management of driving a train, basically.
Huh.
It is so ironic that an engineer actually does drive trains.
Not in the UK. Don't
Not
need that.
so-
That's too technical.
Actually, I am a train driver. I've worked for 2 years for the German railways.
There you go.
Oh man, my son is so into trains right now. But he's not here right now, so
That's our next thing,
Sebastian,
Joe. Build some Lego trains.
yes.
Uh,
He's just slightly too young, but we'll get there. Anyway,
Sebastian,
Do you mind?
are you into like Lego trains then?
Actually, not. I think it's a thing separating the hobbies from the working environment. I have no interest in anything train stuff during my free time.
That is.
this is why I'm not
completely fair.
interested in the Lego robot stuff at all. Like, I don't care.
Okay, let's go back to this because it's
Yeah. Sorry.
okay. So I just turned it on. Finally now I see this. So I get 39 warnings on this, and yet I built this thing, and it's showing the like here's the arm with the astronaut on it, which is supposed to be ability to move. So that's kind of funny that it flagged that.
I think you only got clutch power warnings. That it maybe
Oh,
may fall
I see.
apart.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's weird. The cautions, I've found that if I want to reverse studs using those little bushing pieces is actually a very good clutch.
Do you know why they call it clutch power?
Because studs clutch. I call it engagement when I'm, when I'm trying to teach kids about Lego and I talk about, my design within constraint activity where kids build a tower. I talk about strength in the mode we're talking about is how many studs are actually engaged, at a certain level. So a 2x2 would have 4 studs. A 2x4 would have 8 studs. But if you have a 1x4 on top of a 2x4, you only have 4 studs engaged. That kind of mentality. So I'm guessing it's saying that by having the swing arm out there, or the beam, basically, that there isn't as much clutch there. Interesting.
So
That's right.
Is that the extension of the ISS, the private sector extension of the ISS?
Maybe. Here,
That's gonna be pretty cool.
I will say, so this is a semi-secret project. So everybody that's listening now, please don't. I've been approached to do a commission.
Good.
Let me stop this screen and share a different screen.
You all remember signing your non-disclosure agreement?
Non-disclosure.
Yeah.
Let me.
The one with the blood sample.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Or he had to sell his firstborn. Yes.
No, not my firstborn.
So this is.
He's the one I like.
So this was something I just threw together. So anyway, this company and is by 2028 is going to have its own commercial independent space station. And so they've approached me to do a kit. And I got paid to do the prototype. So I've got the prototype done, but I just need to get it finalized. Peter is going to be a sub-consultant to get the template ready. This will have stickers and a printed brick.
Nice.
But here, I'll show you the, I will stop this one. Make me solo. And here is my mule, which I did have to get a few more pieces to finalize it, but I'm still waiting on a couple. But so, you know, it's kind of interesting that it was showing that as unstable, but I wanted it to be removable so that you can, of course, there we go. That's the clutch power.
Oh, there you go.
So the biggest thing was having to, they have this neat observation.
Can't see it, Scott. Lower.
Thank
Yep,
you.
there you go.
They have this neat observation, kind of like portico on the International Space Station, but it's going to be something that you can hang in, and it would be facing down to Earth. But they're, you know, obviously they're pretty smart in that they're modules, and each module would then be launched. They'll have their own version of the Canadarm. Then they'll have this power module, and then there's something that looks like a garage, almost a large door. But each of these, the black tile, would be a place for a universal docking. So it's basically what's on the end that the space shuttle connects to, that the space station calls universal docking. So the same thing that the Crew Dragon connected to.
So Scott Manley has a good video on that, on the private extension.
Yeah, I've got him on my list. So
what was that?
I've got him on my list to look at his stuff.
Who?
Scott Manley.
Scott Manley?
Isn't that who you? Right, he does YouTube stuff, right?
Yeah, he's my man crush.
Well, he's just on my list. I've never seen his stuff. I think you said that the last show, and I just haven't had a chance to look him up.
Actually,
he published a video about the knockoff LUT, I think, yesterday.
Did.
Yeah,
It was yesterday. I was very happy about that.
I'm so glad he credited Valerie for her work, and it wasn't a glowing review of that Chinese kit.
Oh,
he's like, yeah, don't get this.
well, back to our guest. I particularly like this project. I don't know why, but I love the way that you are kind of remaking some of those. So if you want to talk about this one a little bit, Sebastian.
Yeah, it's of course has to be as a proud European. I had to do some European rockets after building mostly the American rockets like Ares rockets, the SLS, the Delta rockets, the Titan rockets, and some Russian stuff like the Energia, the Soyuz by Nico Dams, or Technique on Lego Ideas. I had recreated or recreated in LDD first because at first there were no instructions available, and tweaked them a little bit to my liking, extending the boosters, and actually Nico Dams adapted that. That was a really proud moment for me that the original creator accepted some changes that he saw in the back of the picture anywhere. not really communicated that to him. It was really nice to see that he contacted me that he will adapt that for his own creations. It was really nice. And then I didn't find any European rockets at the time. There was one single Lego Ideas project for the Ariane 5, and the whole bottom section is a carbon copy of that. I hope I credited that in all the posts on Reddit and Bricks in Space that the engines section was from this particular Lego Ideas project, and it's basically the same for any project. Figuring out the diameter, trying to match that to a circle technique that I either know or that I have to come up with. That's basically the start of any of those projects. I think it is the same diameter like the Vulcan rocket I'm building at the moment, the 4x4 base with this very useful piece that I mentioned here in the corner, the brick modified with the adjacent studs that make it possible to in a small room have many connections to the outer to the outer hull. Yep. And from there on, I think in this project the piping is basically a copy of the piping of the Delta 4 from Render Bricks, and from there on, the piping on this model is very similar. Or is it called runway? I'm not quite sure. Is the runway the part that only has the electrical wires on the rocket? The raceway?
Raceway or conduit.
Yeah.
I call them fuel pipes in my head. Well, I don't know what they are. Really,
that's a true civil engineer. Pipes.
Yeah. Something thumping, flowing down or communicating.
Let me pull out my 2020 National Electric Code, and we can talk about conduits all day long if you want.
Please. I don't want to commit suicide today.
Seriously, no, I'm not joking. Don't go into engineering if you don't want to read a lot of boring stuff.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec. We're meant to be getting young people into engineering, not away from it, all right?
Right. Engineering is amazing. You'll understand the universe. It's just mind-blowing.
It's
you
better.
Get paid a lot.
All right, now you're just being silly.
Speaking of new parts, I got kind of excited by this one. I saw it. I can't remember how I saw it. Oh, when I order anything on Bricklink, I always look at their featured stuff, just see if there's something on sale or something. And I saw this part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Recently saw that. Yeah.
And so I consider it doesn't come in very many colors yet. But boy, that makes that idea of a 4-way 2x2 much more.
So can I show you something on my recent Delta 4 release? Actually, two things. Because I use that brick down here at the base where I needed a place to attach the SRBs.
Yes.
But also, along with what Sebastian was saying, when I was doing the medium, the 4-meter fairing version of the Delta 4, this section right here was actually the hardest part for me because I had never tried a conical section like that. And Lego really doesn't have all that many options when it comes to conical sections.
No.
But yeah, that new piece that you just showed off, Scott, I only put 2 in this design because they are still really expensive.
Yes.
But they were super helpful.
I think I got 20 of them. Just I wanted to try them. So
yeah, no, they're really nice pieces.
Well, it looks like.
What are they priced at? What are they
Anywhere
priced at?
from like 75 cents up to $1.50.
I think these were in the 50-cent range.
Really, they've dropped?
Well, at least
Okay.
the vendor I had, I can't remember who it was. Who was that? I can't remember who it was, but it's one of the ones I use quite a bit. And they always tend to put the new stuff in their featured, so that it's kind of easy for me whenever I order from them. So
Okay.
I did want to. One of the things I do like about Sebastian is you pick up some very, I guess, unique kinds of things. This one fascinated me. I never knew the story behind this one. So do you want to tell us what this one is?
This is called the Reusable Nuclear Shuttle, and it was the complementary way of traveling to the moon for the space shuttle. The space shuttle was designed to deliver cargo to low Earth orbit, and this one should pick it up and bring it to the moon or eventually Mars. For the journey to Mars, I think three would be stacked together like a Delta IV Heavy, and bring it out of the influence sphere of the Earth, and one would push up that one to the moon. The whole engine section is called Nerva, and that one is a feasible engine. It has been built, it has been tested. I think it has been tested as a full size version, so that one could be produced, but it would be really
dangerous.
Dangerous to launch that.
It requires a lot of nuclear stuff.
I've seen that. I've seen different versions of launching that one, and one incorporated the Saturn V, and then the reusable nuclear shuttle turned 180 degrees right on top of I think the first 2 stages of the Saturn V. A real monster to bring that up. I think it would be completely empty, and then would have to be fueled in low Earth orbit. And there are some interesting diagrams. You have to approach that one in a really small angle. It's basically defined by the thrust section, or what it's called, below the tank section. And you only have about 10 or 12 degree angle that you could approach this vehicle safely from the front, the front where the cargo would be placed. If you approach that from any other angle, you would get a high dose of radiation, or possibly a lethal dose of radiation.
Because it's very expensive to launch shielding for a nuclear reactor. So they just said, hey, no one's going to be around this thing except the front end, so we'll just put a little bit of shielding on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the article that you referenced in that post was really interesting, and it talked about the impulse, right? The
specific impulse.
Specific impulse, yeah. I just realized that you're probably going to be checking off. Peter, is that true?
I can stick around.
Do you want to just do, okay, so we have a new, we're going to try something new.
We need to have like a theme song to introduce the new segment.
That's your homework, Joe.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. That's your homework.
Okay, so we're going to have a new feature in BBTA, studio lesson. So Peter has been particularly busy with studio and parts designer. He does these incredible videos. We probably should get a banner up for him, Space-Time Brick Studios, both on his YouTube channel and Facebook. He does the Flashback Fridays. He does all sorts of fun builds. He is also a fellow Star Trek fan, so he does some incredible builds with that. So I have asked him to, and we also have, obviously on this show, we have some very accomplished users of Studio, and I always learn something new from all of them. But today we thought it'd be really good to go through how Peter makes a new part that has an image on it. And that could simulate a printed brick, or it could simulate a printed torso on a minifig, or a sticker that might then be made, which is of particular interest to yours truly because of a kit that he's going to be issuing very soon. So anyway, let's let Peter take this over, and we're going to do about 20 minutes or so, and then Peter has to get to his paying job, but let's go ahead and share his screen.
All right, guys. I thought I'd just start with an example here. This is a mock that I'm currently working on. If you can't tell, it's the dojo from the Cobra Kai show. And of course, this would look extremely plain without these bricks here. So basically simulating stickers here. But our real interest today is making Scott's shuttle look immaculate. And of course, Scott's breaking a golden rule of Lego of putting stickers over multiple pieces. This is an advanced display model, so we should be okay.
Yeah.
However, that's going to make our rendering more interesting because instead of just creating one brick for this here, the sticker is going to be applied over 2 bricks. So essentially, anytime you get stuck here and you want to add a sticker to a brick, you basically want to go up to Tool and click on Part Designer. And it's basically going to open up this interesting program where you can make brand new parts or just add stickers to existing parts. I have this open here just because this is a new piece in 2020 that was needed for the Nintendo Entertainment System, the television with where you can play the first level of Mario. This was the piece that attached to the treads of the conveyor, and it did not exist. So I essentially, just using tools here, I was able to make a 1x4 tile. I can show you right here. And then you can select the type of stud you want to put on top. And you got to be careful, and I'm just going to do this quickly, but you want to actually space them where they're supposed to go. And then the last part is I grabbed the Technic pin and attached it to the bottom here. But also, you have an eraser tool where I can, this is not going to be the great example, but you can delete parts of the brick that you don't need. But anyway, and then you just push everything together, and then I make sure we select everything, and then you just export it to Studio with a name that makes sense to you. And I usually put the same name for part name and file name. And then you can go back to your custom palette. You're going to switch off of masters. And I don't think I have this piece loaded in here yet, so we'll go ahead and do that. Export, and then I'm just going to name it tile with pins 1x4. And then I actually included the correct item number from Bricklink. And now it should show up in our palette over here. There we go, tile with pins. And then it's ready to go and work in Studio.
And you can change its color, right?
Yes, yeah. Just like, well, I guess it's available in whatever colors you want to put it in.
Yep.
But
yeah.
So to get back to Scott's example, I'm going to open up my demo. Okay, so I thought I'd just do a quick tutorial on how I created the meatball logo and the inside of the bay sticker right here. So ideally, like, I'll show you first how to do a decal without doing it on multiple parts. So I'm going to just grab this one. I'm going to grab the meatball here, and then essentially, you can just place it where you want it and size it appropriately. And
does the graphic have to be a specific format?
Yes, PNG.
PNG, okay. I think I ran into that problem this week.
So that's straightforward, and then we just export it like we did before. But I am actually going to build this up quick with how Scott has it in his model.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Peter, are you using 1x1s there?
I thought it was weird. I don't understand where they came from, but
no, I'm a bit confused too. You know.
Yeah, I thought those were like you had to do some kind of satanic ritual to pull those out of the ether.
You know, you want to make fun of me. Do your own show.
And I will say that aligning bricks in here seems to be a little bit more difficult than an actual studio. But I did it fairly quickly. So we're going to add this decal to where Scott needs it to be.
Because in this case, we can put the sticker in a place that overlaps brick.
And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side.
Now, did you have to load those logos in a different place, or is it just a folder?
I made a folder. I'm just keeping everything organized, but you can navigate to any PNG on your machine.
Okay.
And then once you export it to Studio, that's where it gets saved into the part. And then I haven't updated this decal yet, but I'm still going to just grab the same one. And I actually made a mistake, and Scott corrected me yesterday. I made this flag way too big just because I'm so patriotic. So I got to tone that down. I mean, it's November. It's election season.
That's right.
Don't forget to vote, people.
No, higher.
Higher?
Yep, it can go on to the kind of upper, then to the left.
Oh, that's just me.
How about there?
Left.
Oh, left more.
Yep.
Jeez, they didn't even center it. That's bothering me. You want more?
Nope, that's it. That's good.
All right. All
So
right.
You're going to make that basically one big part, right? Because that's
You can. That probably would have been the smart thing to do. I exported it as all 7 different parts. As you can see in my palette here, let's go down to it. But yeah, if you want to save time and you don't care and you're just doing this for looks, yeah, go ahead and just export it as one big part.
like for the render.
The only reason I didn't do it as one big part is I still wanted to keep the lines between the bricks, so we weren't totally cheating the customer on the this is what it's going to look like.
Sure.
Does it change the render when you render when you group parts together like that?
I haven't tested it. Here, it's let me.
I've rendered the ISS that you fabbed up for me, and it didn't seem to take any longer than a normal render. And that had a bunch of DAT files that you had created.
We'll do a quick render here. It shouldn't take too long.
Oh, that looks so
Actually,
easy.
Let me hide everything that I don't need.
Yeah, that might help it go a little faster.
I'm so used to working at like 1 frame of, every 3 seconds.
I know, whenever he does this, it's pretty impressive, the speed of his setup.
Why can't I see it? There it is.
Now, it should have the flag on the other side, shouldn't it?
I probably have it backwards. There we go. I don't have a folder for this yet. Let's see how much time it's gonna. It says it'll be done in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I have a question that might be hot topic.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So how can you sell this as a kit when you don't necessarily own the intellectual property for those photos?
The
These are in public domain.
yeah, everything from NASA is public domain.
I wasn't sure if it was or wasn't.
Every photo an astronaut has taken, every photo that's been decaled on a spacecraft is in the public domain created by tax dollars.
Yep. Which is why in my Skylab instruction set, all I had to do was add a little line at the very end and say all photos copy or credit NASA. That's all I had to do.
But that's why I can't do a SpaceX, for example.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of interesting, if American astronauts are on a SpaceX, I wonder what the rules are there.
And also given the amount of tax breaks he's been given. But here's our question, Scott. I can go ahead and just export those modules and not have to do it individually because we still get the somewhat of an idea of separation.
Yep, we do.
Yeah.
Now, this is saved as a DAT file. Where do those DAT files end up?
So the custom ones end up in your roaming applications window folder, I mean. So if you want to save, let me see, what's this type of file? So the part files you can save anywhere you want. I can show you where I don't. I'll probably do it at a later time, but I can show you where the actual DAT files are saved for the studio library, and then anything you add to studio, it puts in your roaming folder.
When you say roaming, is that
So it's basically the roaming folder in Windows is basically a folder that programs have access to just write temporary files. Sometimes it's temporary files, but here it's more of a permanent file. I think it just does there just to keep the installations clean.
Okay.
But it basically everything I make, I have it backed up as well. So I can investigate further to see what other people do and see what makes more sense.
Well, I guess the only reason I say that is that, especially within this group or within even Bricks in Space, if we were sharing some of this content, could we share a DAT file? Then I would know where to put it.
So I don't think you want to do it that way. I think you want the part file, because when you open up the part file here and you export the studio, it actually loads it into the palette in Studio. I think if you would just copy the DAT files, I don't think it would automatically load in the library. I need to double check and make sure, but I'm not sure on that.
Okay. Because
So
to date, like the International Space Station we did, I was able to basically copy a part, then paste it into another model, and it would show up.
okay.
But I did. I had one instance where all of a sudden they were lost, and I had to reload them in. So that's where I just need to figure out. And of course, I can never recreate exactly what I did or did wrong. So,
Okay.
anyway, that's really, that's been the big hole in a lot of my instructions. Like when I do a printed brick, I have to Photoshop the, my brick Idahos, for example, just have Idaho. And so all of a sudden my instructions become a fairly difficult in that I have to try and put it in the perspective and, match it in. So I'm super excited to learn about this and try it more. So let's thank Peter for his studio lesson. We need to come up with a theme song for you. So
A theme song and a catchphrase.
yeah, some kind of.
Okay, I'll go pull out my electric guitar. Do we want like a metal riff or something? Studio lesson.
So I'm thinking about doing a video learning series for people who've never touched Studio, and basically how to introduce people into using it for the first time and how to organize stuff. You think? And I'd appreciate any feedback anybody would have on what to include.
I'd watch that for a start, because when I first got into Studio, I had to muddle through myself. So I had to learn how to do Parts Designer to put stickers on my Bentley and all that sort of stuff. And even wasn't until when we had the episode with Aaron Fiscom that you mentioned that you can reset the origin.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things.
Brilliant.
Biggest lifesaver in the world, that is.
Yeah,
Shortcuts. I didn't know I could make my own shortcuts. My God, that was has been an incredible time saver.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and make like a outline for episodes or videos and possibly run it by this group and see what everyone thinks.
Well, that's what
Peter, I would love to help with that.
What if we had a show where you're the guest and the theme of the show is Studio? Because then we could gather a lot of that information of stuff that various of us have done, and then that could help inform the series.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we'll set a date for Peter as the guest. I think he's the only one in this stream that has not been a guest. So you've just been a regular. We need to advance you and
Without you.
I just thought you didn't like my creations. That's all.
Well, we didn't want to say that, Peter.
Okay, back to
So we
Sebastian.
have a friend from Germany here today.
Yes. Why you came? That's
And actually, guys, I'm actually going to step out now. So
okay.
I
Thank
will.
you.
Guys.
Bye,
See you
Peter.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, does that look like an A-wing to you yet?
No, it looks like a box.
Exactly.
I'll be honest, mate.
A driver's seat and something for steering.
Yes. So there's the stick. There's the seat. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to tell that this was an A-wing.
It's kind of cool though. I like
Yeah.
it.
Every time I build an official set, I just keep going, why did you do it that way? I don't get it.
Yes.
Just the entire time. And then you put it together and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
Now, continuing the theme of kind of unusual stuff that our guest does, I was actually pretty intrigued with this one. Let me.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that one so much.
So, some part of that I have here.
Yeah.
Photo. That's part of my mirror, but gravity is not kind with this model.
So we
Gravity
should do
wasn't
the
kind with
stability
you.
on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get the last one.
I said the stability wouldn't look good on that one.
Yeah, I don't know at the moment. I have a second module connecting to the main docking hub here, so I don't know at the moment how I can solve that. I've looked into using steel rods for that one. It's I think 4.2 millimeters steel rod, but they're a little bit too tight, so maybe 4.1 or 4 millimeters, or was it 3 millimeters? The inner diameter of the stud holes. I don't know if it will ever be created, but I have seen the Mir model being built with additional supports supporting the two outer modules of that.
Here, I'll show you. I had to play with that a lot. Let me, this may give you some ideas. Let me take that down.
So are you opposed to using, and I'm really sorry if this is a swear word around here, but are you opposed to using glue?
I don't think that would solve it in this one. Looking into using a steel rod was a first for any of the creations, but the Mir was the first space station I designed. It's complicated for security reasons.
So these modules, what I started to do was I have found that the round tile, the round tile with the hole in it, and then the inverse of a 1x1 round that has the top open knob, that's a very strong connection. So that then when that connects, that makes this very strong. To make this, you'll notice that I had to get studs going in both directions. I actually used a 3 millimeter bar in the center there. And that has made this pretty robust. Plus then this particular manufacturer, Galore, has solar panels that go across the top. So the stickers will actually hold it together as well. So that's kind of how I solved that particular issue. And then in the center here, that one I was able again to use the tile that's got the hole. And then because the 2x2 rounds have an axle, that makes that a very solid connection. So the only thing I wish it had was the ability to make those go through the joiners, But so anyway, that's how I did it.
Yeah, I have the same problem here on the mirror. You have a four-way connector here on the front, and on the horizontal axis, I wanted to use the steel rod, but the modules connecting to the top and to the lower docking ports, they would just have to sit in there. I've the same. I feel the round tile, and maybe you can see light shining through it. There would be the rod, or maybe the flexible hose, 3 millimeter, but it's a little bit too flexible, I think. And the other modules would only sit on top on top of that, and maybe the other one supporting the whole station from below. And I will see. But I've seen the model being built in Real Bricks. That's quite reassuring that I may be able to solve that for my model.
But now this particular image, though, this is the Chinese space station, correct?
Yep.
That they're proposing. They haven't launched this yet, have they?
They haven't launched any part of that space station. They have launched 2 space stations that are based on the other way around. The cargo vessel that is docked in the aft port of the Chinese station is based on the space station modules Tiangong 1 and Tiangong 2 that have been launched already. In this image, we have the wonderful Shenzhou by Samuel Schalker docked to the Chinese space station, and the Soyuz capsules are also by Samuel Schalker, I think.
Oh, so this wasn't yours. I guess I thought this was yours.
Only the Soyuz capsules are from Samuel Schalker, and the space stations are from me. And the cargo vessel docked to the Chinese. Only the crew capsules I took from Samuel Schalker, or he's known as Smasmats on Rebrickable, I think.
So if you're worried about the stability of your mirror space station design, don't worry. The real thing was super unstable anyway. So, I mean, you're just making it more realistic.
It was quite rugged, taking a hit from a Progress spacecraft. Then they lost air, had to cut all the cables with an axe, I think.
Yeah, and then wasn't there the fire on it?
Yes, I think that was it. Yes, many of my models are using more parts.
On the International Space Station, though, didn't they just have to fix one?
Yeah. One bad welding spot, I think. Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? Any problems the ISS has are kind of minor compared to the things that went wrong on Mir. But
yes, true.
Mir was awesome. It just lasted too long.
Also, a Scott Manley video from, I think, 3 or 4 days ago, fixing stuff in space or something like that.
I love it that we all watch Scott Manley kind of religiously.
Yeah, it dates back to the time playing KSP. He was the one, Kerbal Space Program. He was the one teaching me how to reach orbit. Without his videos, I would never have been able to reach the orbit. I was pointing the rocket up and powering the thrusters 100% and trying to hit the moon or something like that. No idea of orbital mechanics at all.
You need to go kind of this way,
yes,
not this way.
Only watching his videos, yeah. And then he had a video series in the past. It was Interstellar Project, I think it was called. And they were also all different kind of conceptual propulsion methods. And I think it was one of the first times I've seen the nuclear propulsion that I have used on the reusable nuclear shuttle MOC you have shown before, Scott. And I think I've built some version of that as a Mars ship with 3 of them stacked together. I think about 4 or 5 years ago in Kerbal Space Program, and then building that in the Kerbal Space Program, and then it has become a Lego creation after that. Yeah.
So what got you interested in the space program? Because I know Germany is in the ESA, but I don't know that it's as big a deal as it is in the United States.
Yeah, the German astronauts are quite present in the news when they launched in the Shuttle days, and the longer missions on the Mir space station, they were quite publicly known. I'm in my late 30s, so it was about the age, I think it was 14 or 15 years old when all the Mir missions happened. That's kind of the that's kind of the age range when something will be stipulated or pressed into your mind, and then it will stay with you for the rest of life.
Well, and Scott, you have to remember one of the most famous German astronauts, Vogel from The Martian. You know,
from the book and the movie.
From the book and the movie, yeah.
There was a German astronaut with it. Vogel.
Vogel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know you pronounce the V with an F. I can't. Why did I forget that? Anyway.
Yeah, really good movie, The Martian. Yeah, as I said, there's no real interest in any train stuff for the hobbies, and I've built all kind of mocks. I'm looking at a Scud launcher over there in minifig scale. I'm looking at a Mike Psiaki X-wing. That was a real good creation. It's quite old now. I'm looking at a BF-109 Messerschmitt copy from Brick Mania.
Nice.
It's kind of diverse. The stuff I have built before.
Oh man, I love the BF-109.
rocket.
Yeah,
Hey, Sebastian, I think we need to talk more. If you're into World War II fighters.
Well, I guess this is the series I don't have out yet. I have stickers created, but this is my Micro Fighter series.
Ooh.
So soon to be in kit form. So the P-38, P-40, the 109, and the Red Tail P-51. So, and then I got a 47, P-47 that I'm working on, and then that'll be the first 5 that will come out as a series. So, but yeah, getting the German cross, I decided to kind of have just one sticker to make it look more like it. So obviously the T for the Warhawk. So soon to be released. Of course, I've been saying that for 3 years now. So.
Yeah, that was one of the projects. I only had about 3 or 4 photos, I think, from the official Brickmania website, and then I had to work a way around recreating it in Lego Digital Designer, and that taught me a lot about building techniques, about using the modified bricks, stuff like that.
Yep.
Inversion techniques, bracket techniques. I've built here. That's the only thing I've completed for my today's project, the Vulcan rocket. They have different layers of modified bricks and bracket techniques to achieve some kind of tapering and some kind of conical structure. It's only learning from other great creations that I've seen online, and Besides the historical spacecraft, it's also some kind of historical spacecraft.
I know what spacecraft that is. That's
so
that's
you had the DOS game, yeah?
No, that's from Descent. Or
no, that's from TIE Fighter, the DOS.
Yes.
The DOS version. I think it's the missile boat or the XG1. XG1.
Where'd you find that one? Or did you make that?
No, it's from Eurobricks user Crispy Bricks or Crispy.
Huh.
He has put out some an LTD file for that.
Nice. I should totally do that one too. Sorry, I can't remember who it was. You did that that Nerva, that nuclear rocket. Was it you or was it someone else who made the Venus flyby?
That was David Welling. Yeah. Hmm?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
David.
He converted the S4B and made the whole Venus mission. Yeah.
Yeah, Scott, if you want to talk about some interesting ideas that they had for the Apollo applications program, they were doing they were designing a Venus flyby, which would have sent a crew of what, 3, just
I think so.
flying past Venus, using just a Saturn V.
And only taking photos and releasing 2 or 3 probes or something like that. Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, basically they slingshot instead of try to go into orbit.
Yes.
Right. And it would have been about a year-long mission because it would have just one orbit of the sun. And you didn't really need all that much more delta V from Saturn V than to get to the moon. Like it really wasn't all that much more.
Got a year in a command module?
Well, they had kind of an expanded instead of having the lunar module, they kind of had an expanded like living space in that area.
It was quite similar to the Skylab, I think. They would have also emptied the upper stage, the S4B, and converted it into quarters for the mission time.
Yep.
During flight, they would have done that.
I think so. Yeah.
The original design of Skylab was that they were just going to empty the tank and just load it with everything while it was in orbit.
You have some months to fill with work.
Yeah,
flying to Venus.
you got time. Okay.
There's a really interesting blog for that. It's called False Steps, and it has many blog posts of missions like that. Also something like personal astronaut rescue devices to fall down from orbit, only using some inflatable stuff to bring the velocity a little bit down.
Yeah, a balut.
Well, I remember one of the rescue ideas was you put the astronauts in basically a balloon, a bubble.
Yeah.
And then the astronaut with the suit would just transfer them from probably from the space station or the shuttle to another one. That would have been an interesting trip.
Yeah. So, what's your next project, Sebastian?
I finished a project that has been lingering around about a year ago, just yesterday. The Ariane 4, the predecessor of the Ariane 5 that we have here. That Scott showed the rendering for, with the kind of lineage to the Ariane 6 after that. And yesterday I finished the Ariane 4. Yeah. And at the moment, not many projects in design. I'm trying to catch up and build with real bricks. That's the core stage of the Vulcan rocket that I have all the parts for available. And I have about 2 or 3 other projects that I have acquired all the parts. But at the moment, not really any plans for the next project. what comes next. But as you have said, we are running out of actual projects, of actual rockets that have flown. So maybe we have to go a little bit more into stuff like the X-20 or projects that were on the drawing board, but never have reached any stages of projection. I hope the SLS will reach orbit and not be one of the projects that will never have flown. So no, at the moment, not any actual projects. The Chinese space station that Scott showed is one of the projects that I have all the bricks for. I'm quite interested in one of the sections that it was shown on the picture. One of the laboratory modules has a telescope in there. It in reality is a 2-meter diameter mirror telescope, and this section looks really flimsy in studio. So I will have to build it with real bricks to work out a way to make it a little more stable. This section is one of the modules that I'm building with 5 studs diameter, and that's a really painful diameter to work with. 6 studs, it's really quite good buildable with the 4x4 core and the curved slopes. And actually, another Ariane 5 project showed me another circle technique that I will use up here. That it's a little smaller than the diameter I'm using here on the main body, but I can insert a technique by the LEGO Ideas user, I think Cha. He has published his Ariane 5 design a few days ago on Bricks in Space. So it will be projects like tweaking existing creations with newer techniques. Maybe one day this part will come out in white. So
yes,
that will give some opportunities to build better cargo fairings, because the nose cone techniques that is used on here and on a lot of other rockets I've created, like the Vulcan, and the Ariane 6 uses the same nose cone, but it has no usable space for any cargo in there. It's all filled out to the brink with bricks and brackets and stuff like that. No room for any cargo. Yeah. That's one thing that I'm admiring on this rocket by Randall Bricks. He was able to stuff in a full upper stage. That's here, the full complete upper stage, the complete engine section. He has put up a kick stage, and the payload is the Parker Solar Probe in here. It's really quite a good model.
Very similar design on my Delta IV. I don't know if let's see. Yeah, so
the hub piece, yeah.
Yeah, I used the hub piece
and minifig hands, I think.
And then let's see which side opens. That's the. Come on now. You'd think I'd remember.
Yes, you have a similar wish for the white cone piece that I showed.
So
for the booster
so
cover.
here's my Parker Solar Probe. It's a little more to scale than it was in the real thing. Just this tiny little thing inside this huge rocket. Yeah, that's interesting. It's really funny that people who do these these designs, we end up having such similar solutions to the problems we're trying to make that you can look at them and go, wait, did you copy off of them? But it's like, there really aren't too many ways you can do this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're limiting yourself to the bricks that are really available in the correct colors.
There really isn't very much. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, by the way, my entire Delta 4 series is available on my Etsy page. If you want to see my egregiously detailed instructions, yes. Thank you very much. I'm the weird one. I like to make instructions, and so I spend a lot of time on my instructions. And
I have a question.
Yes.
You'll get an email, well, you probably already got it, saying that some crazy man in the UK has decided to purchase your Skylab instructions and your Delta 4 instructions.
I just saw that.
I don't know who he is. He's a nut job, right?
Right.
Gotta be a nut job.
So
Is it just me or can you not hear Sam?
What?
I can't hear Sam.
You can't hear me.
I can hear him.
That's probably a good thing.
You can't hear Sam, but you can hear us.
I hear this really low bellowing wah 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 from Sam. That's it.
That's just how Sam talks. Sorry, you have to turn on your British translator.
So Joel, can you take a look at my new Glenn rocket? I sent you the studio file. It now has, I think, about 380 pages of instructions.
I would love to take a look at that, man. I would love to take a look at that.
Add an image of it. Yes.
Nice. Okay, sorry, Sam. What was your question?
Where would I start with the Saturn? Oh, sorry, with the Delta 4. You know, because I've also got your Skylab one, and I've ordered all the parts for that, and that's coming. That's done.
Awesome.
So at one show, I will build your Skylab in front of you and go, "What have you done to me?"
Right.
Which version of the Delta 4 do you want to make? Do you want to make the medium?
This is it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Where would be a good place to start?
Well, all of them start with the common booster core. So there's an entire instruction set for just the common booster core. And then if you're building the heavy, you obviously build 3 of those booster cores. And I don't know. It's up to you. Which one do you want?
Well, now I've seen the heavy. I want the heavy.
Yeah. Guess what? It's 3 times more expensive than the medium.
How did I know you might say that?
Because it's 3 times the bricks.
Maybe use normal orange. I think the dark orange slopes are now getting rarer because of King's Knight's new external tank design for the shuttle. I think he's using the 2x2 rounded slopes.
I was actually able to find them pretty cheap. Maybe I should put something in the instructions where you can replace all of this dark orange with regular orange color.
I didn't want everybody to ooh and ah over my.
Ooh.
Isn't she pretty? And there is only one of them.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, you're my only hope.
There is a tool that is currently working only for the German language Lego shop. I think it's called Brick Hunter, and you are able to import an XML Bricklink wanted list. To import into Brick Hunter XML Bricklink wanted list, where you have set your prices that you are willing to pay, and then it goes through the Brick and Pick and to the Bricks and Pieces service, and showing which of the pieces are available directly from Lego and at which prices. Because of the 2 services, it's in Germany, the 2 services are differing in prices. Sometimes the Pick a Brick is cheaper than the Bricks and Pieces service. That's a little confusing, but it's the first tool that I've seen that is able to search the prices from the Lego services for single bricks.
So that has that's been one of the more interesting things in designing, especially with what I do, because I'm trying to make it as affordable as possible for people who want to build the things that I've designed, and so a lot of decisions are based on like, all right, how expensive is this part? Is it available? It's things you just don't expect to need to be able or need to spend a lot of time on. I end up spending a lot of time on.
Yeah, it's the same for my process. Yeah. Back to my my new best friend part here, the 1x1 brick with the adjacent studs. It's I think about 30 cents on Bricklink and about 11 cents on the Lego service. It's really cheap.
The cheapest color for that brick is tan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I know.
That's something I haven't done enough of.
Yes.
And those in sand green, with one stud, sand green is already really cheap.
Okay.
Is the pieces, I've got a friend, Matt Lincoln here in my lug, who does that quite a bit. Now, I can't use that for my kits because when you order from that, you are agreeing to never resell those parts. So you can only use creations. So that's one of the limitations that I have to respect. And I'm a little too well known by Lego that they would know if I started using the parts for my kits. So I've got to be a little bit, constrained.
Agreement.
But that's really interesting that you have an idea what kind of numbers of your creations are out there. I have actually no idea how many of my rockets have been built. That's from time to time a photo pops up on Bricks and Space, and then I see one of my rockets in the background and cheering internally and externally. Someone is really building them. But I actually have no idea how many times these have been downloaded or how many have tried to create that. But I'm really looking forward to seeing your SLS in real bricks if you are trying that.
Yeah.
It's always wonderful to see that.
I've got a contact with the lug in Houston, and the lug in Houston is interested in working with me, like I worked with the Seattle lug to do. Yeah. So hopefully there could be a build project where, again, the kids are who help build it, right? So I do these big events, and so I'm kind of hopeful there. And then I'd really like to try and get, the Smithsonian interested, because in 21, they are opening the new gallery that has the Saturn V in it, the F1 motor. And I thought that would be a great place to build another Saturn V. Would be for that exhibit. So I'm going to approach them as well. So maybe in 21, if you want a trip to America, well, you could come and help build the SLS. So Sam's already helped with one of them. So you helped with the Seattle.
Hey man, I helped you put together that one at Brick Slopes 2 years ago.
All 9 pieces, you mean?
I handed you that piece up on the ladder.
You did. So yeah, I have now 2 Saturn Vs because I built one in Seattle and one here in Boise, and both of them are now here in Boise because the Seattle one, Dave Shefsick, he moved to New York. So I am now rebuilding it into my version 6 because it's version 5, whereas version 1 needs to be rebuilt a lot to get to its new configuration. I just ordered $100 worth of brick to finish one part of it. You guys will like this because I have to think about how to move this exhibit. And one of the mistakes is the base. And I finally redesigned the base. This is actually version 7 of the base.
Well, that seems a lot sturdier than Seattle.
Yes. Here, let's do.
I remember how much of a mission that base was to put on.
So if you approached it, you would see it this way.
Yeah.
And it's not quite done yet. So again, that's the extra brick I've got in order. But this is to replicate what the launch pad. I've given up on the railing. The railing's just too
fiddly.
Plus, this is my story. I'm sticking to it. They removed the railing before they launched. I don't know.
And if you,
but I would do that. So I'm doing that. So then to get them to connect together, now this can be removed with the rocket in place because you can't move the rocket. It's got a 2-inch solid aluminum armature going up through the middle of it. So I've now unitized it so that the other side, let's see if I can, you can see how it now can fit in.
Oh. Oh, you've made it modular.
Imagine that.
Who'd have thought? That's a crazy idea.
So, and then in order to connect them,
you know, Scott, let's calm down a little bit.
So I can now take these off, and then I can press in the famous red connectors, so then it connects it all together. So
cool. Apologies, ladies and gents. You know, if he's not saying rude words, he's breaking Lego deliberately.
I haven't said one bad word this episode.
Wait, and you're a what kind of engineer again?
You're just trying to rile me up.
And now, kids, it's time for another edition of Joe Tries to Get Scott to Swear.
Yeah,
joke, Sebastian, that, you know, because again, I've had a lot of civil engineers work for me over the years, and one of the jokes that they always talk about is that mechanical engineers make weapons and civil engineers make targets.
Targets is. I know that.
And electrical engineers make magic. How about that?
That's right. Anybody that uses the square root of -1 in a real way
is insane.
Is insane. Well, we're coming to the end. We're into the 2-minute range. So, Sebastian, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And it's been really fun to learn. I have downloaded your instructions for the SLS, so I too will be, because I think that might help inform doing that one would be taller, right? Is that taller than the Saturn V, or is it about the 670? 670?
It's about the same size.
Okay.
I actually cannot compare them because I have not completed the Saturn V. I have built the first stage. It's here in the background.
Yeah.
But I have not completed the kit.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I have to buy the reissued one and then complete that one.
Yes, I may have to buy another one. I don't know what happened to my other one, my spare, but
I think the block 1 is a little shorter. The block 2 or the cargo versions with the bigger upper stage would be a little bit taller than the Saturn V. Yes, but it's a 1 meter rocket wouldn't fit on the top shelf. I don't know where to store it.
This is true. So again, now Sebastian, you're always invited to come back. I will put you on the list that some of these other Yahoos are on that get a notice when I'm doing this. So please feel free to drop in whenever you would like to.
Thank you.
For the offer. And if you need help, if you want help with your what was it, the
New Glenn instructions. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to shrink them down from 380 steps to little.
And that's something that, so like Peter is of great help. I'm hiring him for some and paying him in brick with others. So he is working on a couple of my projects. So, and then of course, I'm doing some collaboration with Joe for his Skylab will be on my Etsy store. And then I will have my shuttle on the Etsy store soon. Sam's talking about starting a branch of Idea Brickworks in England. So we need to keep talking about that because I actually have quite a few micro Saturn V's in England at this point. So and Germany, I've had a few ordered from Germany. So
it would be a lot easier to ship from the UK than it would be America.
It would. But anyway, so it's quite a community that has been built up through just my show and all these great people. I met Sam through this, Sam Bradford, and Joe I met at. So again, it's kind of a fun community, and Bricks in Space is awesome. And so anyway, I am working on 2 guests right now. One is Wolf, and I can't say his last name. But we are trying to come up. That one's probably going to be recorded, but we'll see if we can get that one going. I'm really fascinated to learn about his Russian moon rocket. I think that's going to be fascinating.
Yes, the N1. I still need to build that.
Right, and then the other one that I'm working on is Sam Hatmaker, a friend of mine who is a little famous right now because he was the 3rd place on Lego Masters. Really good guy, and he will bring a whole new avenue to our to the show. So looking forward to that one as well. But yeah, if anybody's got any ideas of people that would like to be on my show or should be on my show, please get that to me. And you can always get a hold of me on my Facebook page, website, wherever. That you may see my stuff. So again, thanks everybody, and I'm really looking forward to the next show, and I will see you later.
Thanks everyone.